Hi, my name is Max Slatton, and my presentation is on music and emotion and why music is pleasurable. So I wanted to know why music is so great. Keep in mind that I'm not trying to ruin music or anything here. Everyone likes it, but I can't see how it would help us hunt woolly mammoths or anything, dancing and singing included. You can't deny that it's moving and emotional though. We have performed some experiments, but it's hard to have test subjects that haven't heard Western music before. We don't know if people like consonant sounds just because of what music we've been exposed to, or because our brain actually prefers them. Josh McDermott, an MIT cognitive scientist, went to Bolivia to research the Tsimane people. They were a pretty good bet when it came to finding people that didn't have exposure to the outside world. He played different sounds for them and asked them which ones made them feel better, and they tended to choose the consonant ones. This was probably the most convincing evidence that we actually do prefer consonant sounds. Other experimental results include babies staring longer at speakers that play consonant music and chicks imprinting on a person or object playing consonant sounds rather than another person or object playing dissonant sounds. We can also hear that birds prefer to sing at consonant intervals. When we listen to music, a lot happens in the brain. Your frontal lobe reacts to sensory input, which in return starts stimulating neurons that begin to move to the beat. We try to predict what comes next, and when our expectations are fulfilled, we get some good brain chemicals for such a job well done. Building up these expectations, then throwing them off can provoke emotions as well. I haven't fact-checked this, but this kind of explains to me why sometimes you like a song more the second or third time you hear it, or why some people get stuck in certain genres of music. Dancing, however, is done in a different part of the brain. It is processed in the amygdala and the cerebellum. Moving to the beat and watching others dance works similarly to how we enjoy listening to music, where neural oscillators sync up to predicting movements. Dancing along with others is also pleasurable, scientists reckon, because it gives a strong sense of cooperation and community, which everyone loves. Singing is very similar to the other two. Singing together gives a strong sense of community. I imagine that weird powerful feeling you get when chanting at a baseball game or something has something to do with this. I learned this after I made the slideshow, but just simply listening to music will sync your heartbeat up somehow, not just when singing. That's why it can be easier to exercise with music. It's also been shown that you'll have lower levels of cortisol after singing or listening to music. Cortisol releases when you're stressed and weakens your immune system, so I guess make sure to listen to lots of music during these times. We are still pretty clueless on why a lot of this stuff happens, but we do know it's all pretty good. Some things I found interesting was that when farmers played music for their animals, the chickens laid twice as many eggs and the dairy cows produced more milk. I don't really believe in this, but you might have heard of music for plant growth. A few albums intended for plants came out in the 70s. They really aren't that bad. Not really going to go into other things here because I don't really understand it, but classical music is supposed to make babies smarter. All babies have synesthesia until they are about 4 when their brain starts to grow big enough to separate their senses. Maybe that has something to do with it and why memories and emotions can arise. Here are my sources. Thank you very much for listening.